Okay, recently on this group there was a little bit of discussion on setting up a bandsaw and resawing wood. Now today I'm going to be cutting some poplar wood I have here, and it's 8-inch wide by I've got it about a little less than 1 inch thick right now. So what I'm going to be doing is resawing this into I'm going to be cutting it in half to make these pieces for a door field I'm making. So first of all, on this saw I've made a riser kit for it, and I welded this riser block up, then ground it so it's parallel and whatnot, and made a blade guide for it, so it's set up to accomplish what I needed to do. And I got a 1/2 inch blade in here, and it's probably about 6 TPI, I think. I've got my blade guides adjusted so they just touch the blade, and the tooth of the blade is not buried in the blade guide. I don't know how clear that's coming across. And the back of the blade is just resting against the wheel in the back, so it's the wheel in the back's not actually putting any pressure on the blade, but it's, as soon as you cut the blade, it'll go against that. And I've got the bottom guide set up in a similar fashion. Now my table is square to the blade, and I made sure of that. And this blade is it's in good shape. It's not a new blade or anything. And also what I've got here, I've got this feather board I've made, and I've got the feather board set so it pushes the wood firmly against the fence, but not so much that it binds, and I use that to guide the bottom of the board. Okay, I've got my board set to resaw, and what I'm going to do is I've got my combination square set so that it's set for half the thickness of the board. And what I do is I run a line down the center of the board here, just like this. And what I use that for is I use that to steer the board through the saw as I go. Now the feather board guides the bottom of the board next to the blade. That really doesn't vary. But the top of this board can wobble as you go through. And if you use this guide here, you can get a real straight cut. It's one of the key things to resawing this wood. Now this is 8-inch wide poplar, and I've done the same thing with oak, and it always works fine. Now you can use a big thick 3/4 inch blade or 1 inch blade if your saw can handle it, but I never have any problems with the 1/2 inch blade I use. And I use a like I say, it's a 6 TPI blade. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to push this through the saw and show you how this works. Okay, I've got the board in the feather board there now, and it's tight enough where it's pushing it securely against the fence, but it's not so tight that it's hard to push through. And I've got the my line up here on the top, my guide line. So I'm going to start the saw, and it's going to be a little noisy. And I'm going to actually run this board through in real time so you can see how well this works. I'm letting the blade cut. I'm not forcing it through. It's cutting at its own speed. I'm trying to run it through with a very consistent speed pressure. done in real time. These boards, you can see, are pretty good. Trip through the planer, and these are going to be beautiful. Now, if you had in mind to book match or something, this is the way to do it. Now, granted, this is a good Delta bandsaw, and in my opinion, it's the Cadillac of bandsaws. It's the one to own if you're going to get a bandsaw. If I thought there was a better one, I'd own it, but this works well. I've had this for a long time, and it just stays good. So hopefully some of these tips helped, and have fun, be safe.